It doesn't matter where you are in the business, whether you are at the beginning, in the middle, or whether your business is meant to end. You can get burnt out right all the way through. And it depends where you realize that this is what's happening. That's how you can schedule the time to get out of it, really. And when I say schedule the time to get out of it, I mean it. Because for me, it was kind of like getting into the business, not knowing what I was going to do, not knowing how I was going to run it, not knowing what everything it included to actually run a business. Listen guys, it's not easy, because suddenly if you are starting up on your own and if you want to build something big, then obviously you have to take all the sort of like tasks on your shoulder. Marketing, right? You need to do some networking, because that gets you out there, that gets your name out there. You need to communicate with your clients. You need to create some structure to your business. You need to do your accounts. You need to do your social media, your marketing, and everything else. And it really falls on your shoulders, and you're kind of like, right, when you don't know, as I didn't when I got into the business, you have no idea how much work there is, how much you will have to do as one person, and it really takes like 10 to run the business properly. So I'm going to share with you how I got to, from charging for hairstyling and makeup for a bride from £50 to £500. Yes, I did it. I managed. It took, let's say, between 2 and 3 years. And I remember when I found my accounts, I was looking at that first invoice I was sending to the bride for £50, charging her for hairstyling and makeup. Right, that was the time where I was beginning and where I was starting and where I didn't know where to go. But then it grew. However, as it happens, you kind of, if you don't know the way, you're learning the way. And my story is that I learned sort of as I went, slowly. You know, I was writing emails that were horrible and wrong, but I never gave up. I am one of those people who will never give up. I will always put 150% into it, and I did put 150% of my energy into the business. That's how I got burnt out. But the journey was sort of steadily getting from feeling like, okay, this is I have to do, this is I have to do, right, okay, I have to raise my standards, I have to do more, I have to do more. And then suddenly you realize you're not really going up, but you're going down, because that amount of work you put on your shoulders is gonna suddenly like weight you, yeah? And you go down and you're like, oh my God, I've got to do this, oh my God, I have to send that email, oh my God, I have to reply to that, right? Oh my God, I have to go and do the work. Anyway, long story short, what happened? I did put too much on myself, and I did put business and work as my #1 priority. I wasn't aware of it. This is the thing, when you continue working, when you do it, you are not aware of it. You just kind of do it, and then you realize that something is wrong, that something doesn't feel right. And I was just doing it. I kept going, I was working, and I was doing so much. And yes, I did build that kind of amount of money that I wanted to gain. But at the same time as that was going up, I was slowly burning. So I'm not sure whether I was going up or down, because within myself, I stopped kind of like enjoying what I was doing. I stopped feeling that passion that I had for hairstyling and makeup. And then I suddenly realized that I was doing far too much, but that was too late. And now what do you do about it, right? When your health starts struggling, when you don't know what you are doing anymore, when you wake up in the morning and you go to bed in the middle of the night because you finally finished everything you had to have done, then you really ask yourself, like, what's the point? Why am I doing this when I'm not really enjoying it? And I thought to myself, I remember actually those times when I was completely burnt out, when I was just doing it, everything. I was doing everything. I needed to do it, and I felt the need to do it. But then I remember the times when I was asking myself, why am I doing it? It's just work. I am exhausted. I am tired. I'm not eating properly. I'm not sleeping properly. And at the end of the day, that job became such a heavy weight on my shoulder that I just really created kind of like hate towards it. I didn't feel it anymore. I was just doing it. I was really good at it, and that was brilliant because I learned so much. And yes, I did get to my goal, sort of earning £500 per bride, but then at the end of the day, my life was not enjoyable. It wasn't healthy, and that's the key kind of like reason why we should think about it, whether we do it right or wrong. And it wasn't what I expected. When I started, I didn't know what to expect, I have to say. I just didn't know what to do, and I just learned. And I did everything I could. I learned from those that were around me and knew what they were doing, which is the best way to learn. If you have someone around you who knows what they're doing, ask them for advice, you know, get them as your coach or mentor. That's the best thing you can do, because everything that's going on in your head, you will be bouncing at somebody, and you will have that opposite kind of like advice or right question to direct you into the right direction. So when I got my mentor, which I am so grateful I met him, he actually, because of his experience and because of his knowledge, he got me to the stage where I actually admitted to myself that I was no longer enjoying what I was doing. And I got to the point where I did not want to do it anymore. And I'll tell you, that was really an eye-opening experience. I remember sitting across him and thinking, what the hell? I'll tell you seriously, what the hell? What am I going to do now? I worked so hard to get me where I am. I built up so much, you know, I had everything spot on. My business plan for that business was amazing, and it worked. It worked. And I was so proud of myself. But when I figured out that I burnt out so much that I wasn't enjoying it and I didn't want to do it anymore, it's like the coin clipped, like, you know, 360 degrees. And I was thinking, right, so what do I do now? And I'll tell you the signs that you get along the way when you get burnt out are. I went to a meeting. I'll tell you, this is a funny story. I went to a meeting. I drove up, parked my car. I went to a meeting, had a meeting, great, then went home, right? The following morning, I woke up and I had another meeting, of course, right? Busy businesswoman. So I went into the garage to get my car and drive to the meeting, right? And the car wasn't there. And I remember standing there looking at it like, where the hell is my car? Because there was a gate, so no one could get in or out. And I felt like, I'm pretty sure, 100% sure that I came back and parked my car there, and it's not there. I'll tell you, that blind moment, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, what happened? What happened yesterday? And I was thinking like so hard. I was pushing and squeezing my brain to kind of figure out what happened last night and what I did the day before. And do you know what? I never drove back home. I left the car parked at the car park. And I'll tell you, that was, I remember going up the lift into the flat thinking, this is bad. Like literally admitting to myself that the situation that I am in is bad. And although I had to laugh, and now when I talk about it, I do laugh, I very well remember the feeling of feeling completely blank, completely empty, completely lost, completely drained, tired, and it's just not nice. And then second sign, when you get these signs that mean something and you should never ignore them, was when my heart started pumping and I got my first heart palpitations. And I have to tell you, that is a sign like a big stop, put a brake on it, because otherwise you're not going to continue that way. So when my heart sort of said stop, you're doing too much, everything stopped, right? When our health starts suffering, then everything stops, because suddenly we realize the value of our life. And then everything that matters, the business is the very last thing you think about, trust me. But everything that matters is this: how do I survive till tomorrow? And when I had to call the ambulance and when I had to speak to them, and tell them what was wrong, it wasn't stopping. My heart was just popping and, you know, bumping, and I was like, oh my god, okay, what happened? Why is this happening to me? And then they came and they explained it, and it all made sense, you know. And those are exactly the moments when you realize you are so burning out, whether you like it or not. And now the question is, what do you do about it, right? So for me, I learned to listen to my body and mind, because they always talk to you, and it's up to you whether you listen or not. And I started researching. I started looking for people that gone through what I've gone through and how they managed it. So I started looking for the answers, how I can make my business to be enjoyable for me, and how I can make it so that it's healthy for me. So I was looking for a healthy way of running my business, and I'll tell you that opened up the massive door of opportunities for me. First, I have to say what I did, the biggest mistake, giving up your passion, something that you love. I remember the times, because of the load of work I had, I gave up volleyball, and that was the biggest mistake that I could make. I love volleyball. I need to hit the ball. I need to let everything go out. I need to be on court, running, screaming, jumping, you know, and just forgetting about the world around me. And that was the first biggest mistake that I made, and I really kind of like realized later. But that was something I shouldn't have done. But you cannot live in regrets. You just need to realize it when the time is right and go back to it. So when I did come back to it after my heart palpitations, after my heart attack, then it was different. Because the body remembered that experience where the heart wasn't really with it, then it came more often, and of course it wasn't stopping, because the thing is, it depends how long we are burning out. It's gonna take some time to unburn, you know, to heal, to kind of get your body sort of like recovered from that experience. So it was a very big limitation when I got back into volleyball, and I found out that I can't play, actually. Like, I can't play for 2 hours because my heart is going to say, hey, stop it, right? But the thing is, I'll tell you, the truth is, my mind was never clear. Because at that time, when it happened, my mind was filled with mess. So much rubbish was there. And when I say rubbish, it was responsibilities, it was things to do, tasks, and that was all that was inside of my brain. I mean, who can actually work when you are feeling that way, when you have no clear mind, when you don't have peace inside yourself, and when your body is physically, literally physically falling apart, right? So the research was getting deeper and deeper, because I wanted to find out how I can run the business and do it in a way that it's going to be healthy for me, that it's going to be enjoyable for me. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that business, because really I reached the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. But I knew I wanted to do something that can help people. So research went well. I got back into volleyball, and I started putting myself first and my health, right? And finding a healthy way of running your business is never put business as your priority. Always put your health. Because if you're going to swap it, and if you're going to live for the business, then one day it's going to show. You're not really living your life, because you're just working yourself off to literally burn out. And B, your health will suffer, and the time flies by much quicker. So definitely put as your priority you and your health, everything that you enjoy, put it in the diary. Planning is a massive key, and it will help you to really do the things that you love, and then you will have energy and mindset and thinking to do the things you have to do or you want to do. Because if you're in business, you've got to do things you want to do, otherwise you wouldn't be in it. And then really these two things are the key to not burn out. Because if you're gonna put 80% work, only 30% your health, then that's far too much. Okay, we do have to work, but you do need to really balance it out. Yeah, 50-50 is really ideal. I know it's not that easy, but it is doable, okay? I do it now. I go for walks, I go on mountains, I play volleyball, I do lots of things, you know. I do clear my mind, and that was everything that I wasn't doing when I was feeling really down. And tip number 2, guys, get a coach, get a mentor, get someone who knows how to run the business, and get them to help you along the way. Especially if you don't know which way to go, which way to take it. It will take so much pressure off you. I remember the times when I was squeezing my brain and trying to think of something, how to do things, and it wasn't coming. And I was so angry and upset with me, and I was thinking like, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do this. And the thing is, when it's all happening inside of our brain, it gets too cloudy, it gets too squashed with all the other thoughts, and then you have no space to think clear. So it's in your benefit to have someone, your coach or mentor, to help you out along the way. It's in your benefit to let the thoughts that you have, the doubts and everything, you know, get out. Clear the air, clear your mind, let it out, tell someone, and they will reply to you back, okay? People that know, that understand it, they know what to say exactly to direct you into the right path. And it's only up to you to make that decision, make that investment if it's necessary. Because again, this is investment into your body, into your health, into the success of your business. And it's up to you whether you want it or not. You can be doing it by yourself, and you can try it my way, which was really hard way until my health really started struggling. And then you will see, maybe it will work. I know it didn't work for me because I was really digging rather than going up. And for me, the biggest lesson I learned was the value of my own life and of my own health. So it's really nice to know that. I wished I didn't have to go through those hard times, but sometimes, you know, you have to hit the rock bottom to know how to get up. And how did I get from charging £50 to 500? I had a plan, and I stuck to the plan. I had a clear plan how I was gonna do it, how much I wanted to charge per bride, and I did get it just because I really followed my plan. Without that plan, I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't know where to start, where to begin, and where the final goal was. So I did manage it because I had great contacts. I built up my my reputation, and I was confident. I knew what I was doing. I knew that I can deliver the promise, you know. And that was the key for me, because if I could deliver the promise, then I knew that that had value, big value for people. And I was really grateful when I did get to the point where I knew what I was doing, I knew how much I wanted for it, and I knew I was able to deliver. I mean, that's a feeling that you're not gonna really do on day one when you start your business or anywhere in the middle, but when you are further down the line and you know what you're doing and you know exactly where you're going. So for me, biggest lesson learned was really put that me time into the diary and then do the work, because you are much more productive and less tired, less exhausted, but you've got to do it. Unless you do it, unless you plan your diary properly, nothing's gonna change, and you're gonna just do it. Just do it day by day, week by week, and you will see where you're gonna get. So guys, my journey is only like a little example of how you can run your business and get burnt out and then learn from it. And luckily I am here. I can tell you that story. But many people, they get stressed out through the business, you know, and they are not as lucky as me, because, you know, it could have been really easy done that my heart would just stop. And then what would happen then? Well, nothing, right? I wouldn't be here telling you my story, trying to motivate you to really run your business properly, and giving you these 2 simple tips how you can make it enjoyable journey rather than exhausting. And mainly how to achieve your goals, because as I said, I achieved mine, and it is doable.